Hey, Pastor Steve Waldron with an oldie but a goodie, and a lot of people really like this. And this is the Genesis Octapla. A lot of people call it Weigel's Octapla, but that's more the New Testament of this. And Luther Weigel, he was, 40s, 50s, he was a rather liberal theologian, and he really led the way in the RSV by a lot. But the reason I call it an octapla is because it's 8 translations of the English Bible. And so, you have Origen's hexapla, which is 6 different translations, and you have the Diatessaron by Tatian, which is a couple of translations, the Complutensian Polyglot by Cardinal Ximenes, and another polyglot, which I hope to do a review on. It sitting in the sunroom waiting, not the sunroom, the shell room Sister Waldron has waiting to get done. But, if you can pick these up, I was shocked that there were some on eBay. And I was very thankful for that, because this is Genesis. This is Tyndale's 1530 Genesis. Now, of course, 1526, he came out with just the New Testament, and then began coming out the Old Testament. He was killed before he got through with the Old Testament. If you had never read the letter he wrote about how, he's 500 days in Vilvoorde Castle, and he needs his stocking sewn up and all this kind of stuff. But he says, I just want to complete the Bible. But of course, John Rogers, Miles Coverdale helped complete the Bible, and that's called the Matthew's Bible and the Coverdale Bible. Different thing. I've done reviews on all of that, if I remember. So it's got the Tyndale of 1530, the Great Bible of 1539, 1540, and this was, after King Henry had converted politically to the Anglican cause, and he allowed the Bible to be printed. Actually, that started in 1536, but the Great Bible at King James, 1873. Now, what's significant about the 1873 King James? That is the Frederick Henry Ambrose Scrivener edition, the FHA Scrivener edition of the Paragraph Bible, which Hendrickson still uses a lot, and then the Douay of 1609, which will be the Catholic Douay-Rheims Bible, which the translators and translators to the reader says they did not have access to. It's kind of popular. I know it's on Wikipedia, and I hear this all the time. They say, well, the King James translators copied the Douay-Rheims, and I'm like, well, they said they didn't. So anyhow, and it's got the Geneva Bible of 1560. It says 1562. So, of course, the New Testament came out 1557. Great Site Marketing has an amazing deal on those, by the way, for $30 free shipping, the Geneva Bible New Testament. And then the revised version of 1881, and then it's got the ASV of 1901, which was the American version of the revised version, Westcott and Hort's Bible. Then the Bishop's Bible of 1568, and the revision of 1602, and then the RSV of 1562, revised in 1960. So it just lets you see, how they read. And one of the neat things that I really like, it is a very scholarly edition, because it comes with a lot of kind of notes and marginalia that's excellent if you want to study English Bibles. I remember one time I had a buddy of mine who hates the King James with a visceral passion. He wanted to talk to me about the King James down in Texas. And so I flew down there on my dime, and we just had the best time. And so he began to show me all his research against the King James, and there was nothing. And I was like, so this is all you got? You've got nothing. I felt bad. He was so pitifully underwhelmed. And this is kind of cool too, because it's got kind of the introductory pages of each one, because they used to just do it so ornately. So just all the different Bibles. Let's see what they got here. Oh yeah, look at that. That's ornate. But we'll go to Genesis 1:1 really quick here and just take a look. I was telling somebody the other day that, I kind of like to be the Hickok 45 of Bibles, but maybe I'm just joking on that. But I'd like to get people very interested in the Word of God all around the world. Let's put it that way. And then that's the ASV of 1901. Thomas Nelson did that. They had a 20-year contract. They couldn't make the Bible for 20 years till after the RV, which I've done a review on the Revised Version. Picked one up really inexpensive. I've actually got from Goodwill. I found a couple times, I think, an 1881 Revised Version. I think it may just be of the New Testament. All right. So Genesis 1:1, Tyndale would have written, "In the beginning, God created heaven and earth. The earth was void and empty, and darkness on the deep. The Spirit of God moved upon the water." So notice, heaven is singular there. The Great Bible, in the beginning, God created heaven and earth. The Dewey Ream, in the beginning, God created heaven and earth. King James, in the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. Geneva Bible, in the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. The earth without form and void. The Bishop's Bible, in the beginning, God created heaven and earth. The Revised Version, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. The RSV, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. So there's differences that start right at the beginning. Now, it's been my study of languages that has led me to the conclusion that the King James translators knew languages and ancient translators far better than modern linguists do. And that may be counterintuitive because of computers and stuff, but they just did. They just knew them absolutely amazingly. So the Genesis Octapla, found them on eBay, pretty good price. I remember when I bought my original Octapla many years ago, I had some spare money and I had to pay $210 for it. And they're not quite that much anymore. And this is nowhere near that. It's many times cheaper than that. So, and it's like, 11 inches tall. It's not very thick. But it is in hardback, real nice hardback. Let's see who printed this thing. It is a Tommy Nelson. I was thinking it was a Tommy Nelson publication. It's very thin, very tall, but very thin. Thomas Nelson, a lot of people forget. They've been such a friend to the King James over the years, but they came out with the RSV, 1946, 1952. Whole Bible, and they got a lot of consternation. So it was like in the 60s they went real conservative to try to get a big segment of that population back. So God bless the Genesis Octapla by Luther Weigel. Talk with you later.